For more than 200 years, the goblins and the dwarves have been fighting over this mountain. The goblins want to get into the mountain, but the dwarves won't let them. So the goblins decided they were going to build their own road straight into the mountain, and that's when the fighting started. Now, goblins are known for their axes and their bows and arrows. They're also known for being cheap and cowardly. Now, dwarves are known for their battle axes and their war hammers. They're also known for being incredibly strong and stubborn. The goblins were led by Grug, who was actually half goblin and half orc, making him bigger and stronger than most goblins, but also giving him a huge ego problem. Grug thought he was a great warrior, even though he'd never fought in a real battle before. He was more interested in getting his face in the tavern afterwards, so he could brag about how awesome he was. The dwarves were led by Borin Swenhammer, a dwarf who didn't need a battle axe or a war hammer because his hands were made of pure iron. He was so strong that he could shatter boulders with his bare hands, which is why he was chosen to be the leader of the dwarves. So when the goblins started attacking the dwarven mountain home, it didn't take long for the fighting to start. Now, Grug and his goblins were used to fighting other goblins, or maybe the occasional human, but they'd never fought a dwarf before. And they quickly found out that dwarves were much stronger than they were. Not only were the dwarves stronger, but they were also smarter. When the goblins attacked, the dwarves would lure them into traps. Once the goblins were trapped, the dwarves would either smash them with their hammers or just crush them with boulders. Now, the goblins were fast and agile, which made them hard to hit, but the dwarves were too strong. No matter how fast the goblins were, the dwarves could always catch them and start smashing. As the battle went on, more and more goblins were getting trapped and smashed, until finally it was just Grug and a few other goblins left. Now, Grug was scared, but he was too proud to admit it. So instead, he did the only thing he could think of. He grabbed a handful of dirt and threw it into Borin's face. Now, Borin was a big target, so it wasn't hard for Grug to hit him. But even a small amount of dirt in a dwarf's face is like a red flag to a bull. Borin instantly became enraged and charged at Grug, and that's when Grug ran away. He ran as fast as he could, not stopping until he was far away from the mountain and the battle. As he ran, he could hear the sounds of battle behind him, but he didn't care. He had won. At least that's what he told himself as he limped away from the mountain. The goblins may have lost the battle, but Grug knew that they would win the war. He just needed to figure out a new battle plan.